The richest people in the world don't need high salaries. Some of them even choose salaries that are lower than many senior executives at their own companies. Not because they earn less money, because once you understand how wealth is actually built, a salary stops looking like the prize. It starts looking like the fuel. Later in this video, I am going to show you exactly how to apply this billionaire framework to your own income. But first, we need to look at why the people you think of as rich stopped optimizing for a salary a long time ago. While Jeff Bezos was CEO of Amazon, his base salary was roughly $81,000 a year. Warren Buffett's base salary has been $100,000 a year for decades. Mark Zuckerberg famously takes a $1 salary. 3 billionaires, 3 different companies, the exact same decision. None of them became billionaires because of a salary. Their salaries covered their lives. Their ownership created their wealth. Most people assume this is just a PR stunt, a way to look humble for the press and the public. It isn't. It is a cold, mathematical decision based on the fundamental laws of the financial system. They don't need a high salary because they already own the assets creating the value. The moment you own the machine instead of operating it, every rule changes. Your wealth no longer depends entirely on a paycheck. That single shift from earning income to owning assets is why the world's wealthiest people stopped obsessing over salary decades ago. So if billionaires don't optimize for salary, what happens when ordinary people do? This is where almost everyone starts losing the game without even realizing it. Imagine opening your first paycheck after landing your dream $200,000 corporate job. You expect relief. You expect victory. You feel like you have finally crossed the finish line of the middle class. Then you realize tens of thousands disappeared before you ever had the chance to touch them. Salary is taxed the absolute second you earn it. By the time you account for federal taxes, state taxes, and payroll deductions, roughly $70,000 leaves your pay before it ever reaches your bank account. But it's not just the money you lost, it is the time. To earn that $200,000 salary, you traded roughly 2,000 hours of your finite life. You missed family dinners. You endured corporate stress. You gave away your time. Every dollar you earned represented hours of your life. And every dollar before those hours could begin building wealth had already gone to taxes. Many ownership assets get the chance to grow before taxes are due, while salary is taxed as it's earned. Now, compare that to how the ultra-wealthy structure their money. Instead of taking a massive salary, they hold equity. They take their compensation in stock, in business ownership, and in assets that compound over time. The tax code doesn't treat every dollar the same. It cares how the money was earned. Ownership income follows different rules. If you hold an asset for more than a year and sell it, that profit is classified as long-term capital gains. In the United States, many long-term capital gains are taxed at lower rates than ordinary W-2 income. The structural gap is massive. Meaningfully more of your money stays in your account purely because of the category that income lived inside of. And it gets even better. If that asset simply grows in value, you aren't taxed on that growth at all until you sell. A stock that doubles in value doesn't cost you a single cent in taxes while you hold it. A salary that doubles gets taxed immediately at every single pay period. This isn't a loophole. It's how the financial system is designed. Labor gets paid. Ownership income follows different rules. Those are two completely different games. So why do so many incredibly intelligent people, doctors, engineers, and executives, spend their entire lives trapped in the first game? It comes down to a psychological glitch called salary anchoring. A salary is incredibly seductive because it is predictable. You know exactly how many dollars will hit your bank account every second Friday. It feels safe. Ownership, on the other hand, is volatile. Stock markets crash. Real estate values fluctuate. Businesses face downturns. Because ownership feels like a risk, most people retreat to the safety of a high salary. Pause for 5 seconds. Seriously, answer this honestly. If your salary disappeared tomorrow, how many months could your current assets keep paying your bills? Most people never calculate that number, and that's exactly why they confuse a high income with financial security. They failed to realize that relying entirely on a heavily taxed, time-dependent salary is the ultimate quiet risk. It is a mathematical ceiling that you can never outwork. Most people never realize they're playing the wrong game. They spend their lives mastering the first game. The wealthy spend theirs mastering the second. The wealthy haven't chosen to make less money. They have just realized that a salary is the most mathematically expensive box to receive money in. But here is the most important part. You do not need to be a billionaire to use this exact same architecture. You just have to stop treating your salary as the final destination. A high salary is incredibly useful. It is stable, predictable, and necessary. It is the raw material you need to fund your life. The mistake the middle class makes is accepting a raise and immediately upgrading their lifestyle to consume it. Let's look at what happens over a 10-year period. Employee A and Employee B both start making $100,000 a year. Over the next decade, Employee A fights aggressively for promotions. They climb the corporate ladder. They negotiate hard, eventually driving their salary up to $250,000. But every raise becomes a bigger house, a newer SUV, a higher monthly payment. Very little becomes ownership. Employee B takes a different path. They reach a comfortable salary of $130,000 and they stop optimizing for the paycheck. Instead, they channel all of their excess ambition into building ownership. They aggressively buy index funds. They secure a small rental property. They start a modest side business that generates equity. 10 years later, Employee A looks richer on paper. They have the title, they have the luxury car, but Employee A is exhausted, trapped by a massive lifestyle burn rate that requires them to keep trading their time for heavily taxed dollars just to survive. Employee B's salary looks average, but Employee B wakes up to dividends, rent, and investment growth, even on days they never clock in. Their money has quietly started working the night shift. The people who build real wealth use a different lever. They stop asking, "How do I earn more?" and start asking, "How do I own more?" When they get a raise, they redirect it. When it fits their situation, they often prioritize equity compensation, such as stock options or restricted units, alongside building ownership outside their salary. They systematically use their paycheck to buy business equity and financial assets. They quietly convert heavily taxed labor income into favorably taxed ownership. That's the difference between earning income and owning income. The next time you see a massive salary on an offer letter, remember this. That number is real and it matters, but it is only the beginning of the calculation. One day, your salary ends. Your employer stops paying you. Promotions stop, bonuses stop. But your assets don't know you've retired. They keep working. Salary builds your lifestyle. Ownership buys your freedom. That's why the richest people in the world don't need high salaries. Because paychecks have an expiry date. Ownership doesn't. The goal was never just to earn more money. It was to own the things that keep paying you even when you stop working. That's the difference between having a high income and building lasting wealth.